Mark Zuckerberg, who has just announced the initial version of Threads, an application built by Instagram team for sharing with text, whether you're a creator or a casual poster. Thread offers a new separate space, and this is for real-time updates and public conversations. Well, this came after the internet was buzzing about Zuckerberg and Musk's stage fight. Thread is similar and strikingly similar to Twitter in key ways. The app's main feed, it shows posts from accounts you follow, along with accounts recommended by Instagram's algorithm. You can repost anything with your own commentary as well, and replies are featured prominently in the main feed. There is no feed of only people you follow, though that could be added much later. While Threads will be available in UK, it is not yet available in EU because of certain regulatory uncertainty, particularly around European Union Digital Markets Act. But the company says it is looking into launching it in the European Union as well. Earlier today, after the launch of Threads, Zuckerberg tweeted a photo of identical Spider-Man facing off. His first tweet in over a decade. Netizens are amazed to follow the thread on Twitter, as Musk seemed to suggest that Threads application is a replica of Twitter. A special report.
Meta Platforms is launching a rival to Twitter, dubbed Threads, on Thursday. The new product is a text-based microblogging app connected to Meta's Instagram. Users will be able to follow the same accounts as they do on the photo-sharing app and keep the same username. That's according to its listing on Apple's App Store. Social media analyst Drew Benvey says the new product looks like a serious challenger.
I think Threads is going to pose a huge threat to Twitter because it's coming from the Meta and Instagram family of apps. Instagram has 2 billion users compared to around 250 million of Twitter, so it's about 10 times bigger already. So if only 1 in 10 Instagram users tries using Threads, it's overtaken Twitter in the blink of an eye.
Meta did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for comment on whether it would also launch on the Google Play Store. The debut comes after Twitter announced a slew of restrictions on its app. Musk said users would have a limited number of posts they could read per day to address extreme levels of data scraping and system manipulation. Benvey says it's really further evidence of the troubles that have plagued the network under its new owner.
Since Elon Musk took over, the system itself isn't working as well as it should. Just over the weekend, we saw Twitter go down and then limits put in place for users so that it doesn't break the servers again.
Users will also need to be verified in order to use TweetDeck, a popular app for viewing and managing Twitter accounts. The announcement came in a tweet detailing an improved version of TweetDeck with new features. Musk's latest moves have sparked a fierce backlash from Twitter users. Ad experts say they would also undermine new CEO Linda Yaccarino, who started in the role last month.
Well, Meta has launched that rival of Twitter. Joining us on the broadcast is Ajay Datta, the MD of Data Group of Industries. Mr. Datta, thank you so much for speaking with us. Thank you for joining us on this special global broadcast. I want to get a sense from you how big of a disruptor this new launch is going to be, especially in the tech space, in this new war of sorts that we're witnessing.
No, of course, Sonia, this is a big opportunity which Mark is trying to get on. Just for the audience, obviously, we are looking for Threads as a direct competitor to Twitter. It's also very clear, we all can see that Meta is hoping to lure users away from that Twitter platform. If we see the size in terms of revenue and in terms of numbers, obviously, considering the entire ecosystem of Meta, they are very, very large. The revenue on Instagram is almost 86 billion vis-a-vis 3 billion on Twitter, so which is very large. Number of users, if we take in India only as a perspective, India is approximately 15 million Twitter users vis-a-vis 24 crore Instagram users. So 1.5 crore and 24 crore. These are the numbers which we have, which we see. I was hearing one of the speakers, if we follow the same criteria here in India, then this already must have taken over and maybe taking over in this month, the Twitter population on Threads. I subscribed to Threads yesterday night, and I saw the breath of a fresh air. Because of less clutter, because of less kind of features also, which is less there right now in comparison to Twitter. It gives me another option of having a lot more photos, a lot more larger videos,
Right.
some things which is already there.
Right.
Technically, I see a huge shift which is coming in the world right now.
Yeah.
And Instagram as an ecosystem, WhatsApp, Facebook, all of them together. If I part them in a category that Facebook is on a declining side, if we see on a smarter side, Twitter was the only app which was on a smarter side, which was using AI and everything else, and Instagram was on a hot and smarter. I think Thread has come as a hot and smarter and both. So this comes as a new kid in a block, which is going to have a lot of eyeballs and going to make a huge shift and some trouble for Musk.
Some trouble for Musk. There's another aspect to these social media intermediaries, as they are called in India.
Yes.
The fact that there is a political bent or a political leaning per se, which these corporate giants are often accused to have. I mean, of course, there is politically no sides that they take, at least they claim to do so in the open space. But from the point of view of, political communication, the manner in which democracies are being affected by these new age social media companies, how significant is this development, sir?
I would see this is the time will tell how Mark deals with that kind of scenario. We do not have a very good reputation of the Facebook from the elections perspective, from the political perspective. We have heard lots of stories from the US election perspective, Indian election perspective. I guess the laws were not there at that time, but the laws are now taking place. We have as the word intermediary is coming in, Digital Data Protection Act is coming in, the Personal Data Protection Act is coming in. So all those acts are going to make a lot of shift, lot of changes,
Sure.
which are going to make a difference. I'm sure they will fall in line, else we will have our local another competition coming out of India.
My final question to you is about the Data Protection Act that got the consent or the nod of the cabinet yesterday. It's a long anticipated statute or a law that we are hoping will come in India, and most likely so it will be introduced in the next session of the parliament. How will that affect these new entrants?
No, certainly, if you see these acts are going to protect the data, and how do you use it? How do you claim it? Right now, these intermediaries, which they call themselves intermediary, also become the custodian and the decision maker on the data which they want to run, and the account they want to block, and the account they want to run. They take their own decisions without a transparent manner. These acts will going to obviously guard the end user in a much more better way, give the control of its data in his own hand rather than the data is in the social media's hand.
All right.
This law is going to obviously protect, and the consent framework, the sharing framework, all those things are going to make a huge difference in the social media world. From the personal perspective, from the corporate perspective, content creator perspective, news perspective, what you can share, what you cannot share, all those
Absolutely.
things are going to be controlled much more better. I see for one thing for sure, which may be a little controversial to the internet philosophy per se. Internet is almost free always, right? We do not want it to be curbed. We do not want it to be controlled by anyone.
Right.
And with these acts, with these laws in place, some control will certainly come.
Definitely,
and
sir.
Will not have some choice.
And that regulation, that intricate balance between regulation and control, I agree, always ought to be maintained. Thank you,
Yes.
sir. Mr. Datta,
Yes.
for
Thank
joining
you very
us
much.
on the broadcast and sharing your perspective. Well, moving